All right. Welcome back to another episode of Tales from the Riff. And I'm in the humble abode of Mr. Howie Birkenstock. What's going on, man?
How you doing?
My boy with what's all the bands you were with? Well, currently with Pure Filth, which is out of Lafayette, Louisiana.
We still do Reason of Insanity too. Started that in '99.
Yeah. And Howie is one of the most like influential DJs, at least in my opinion, in the area. Got to hear him spin records at One Eye Jacks recently, at the Feed and Seed in Lafayette, Louisiana. Man, so I'm really curious. Uh, how'd you get your start, dude? Like, what it all began,
Music was
music wise?
uh, as a kid, man. I'd have to say, skateboarding was my intro into punk rock and metal. I'd had influencers like cousins and older people
Mm-hmm.
that definitely gave me mixtapes and turned me on to cool stuff. And definitely Thrasher Mag,
Dude, I'm with you on that.
Puss Zone.
Yep, that is one thing that I failed to mention. I mentioned in earlier episodes that I was always watching like the Powell Peralta skate videos, like Search for Animal Chin and Santa Cruz is like the Wheels of Fire with Mike Vallely and Nas Coppice and all that,
Oh yeah.
and that's all their soundtracks,
Don't
dude.
forget that H Street stuff, Danny
H
Way.
Street, yes, Danny Way too, man, and everything, dude, was just like the soundtrack for my life back then, so I can relate.
Oh yeah. You skate, or did you?
I did,
Okay.
but they said
I don't skate anymore.
I know that they say once a skater, always a skater. You know, just get that
Yes.
skater mentality for sure.
In the brain.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like you and I have similar parallels as far as like style is concerned. Because like I noticed from the jump off when I first met you, I was like, dude, like he's in the Celtic Frost, as am I. All about Venom,
All the way.
and I was like, dude, me and this guy's gonna get along really
Venom
good.
was a punk band, by the way.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, and that's why I'm here, man. You could school me. I mean, I take pride in like knowing a lot of, things about buried underground metal and punk and hardcore and whatnot. But man, it's like my education could get even further expanded by talking more with you and seeing all the records that you have at your disposal. So what besides skateboarding, what is like some of the first albums or first songs, groups that like just put you like, dude, like this is me?
Misfits Walk Among Us, actually.
Really?
And Subhumans, Religious Wars EP, um, The Germs.
Germs.
Oh, absolutely. Germs GI. See what else? Fear.
Oh yeah, that was one of the first punk bands that really like as a young adult.
Right.
Like I called to them kind of late, but it was Fuck Christmas.
And they're still killing it.
Yeah, still touring, still doing the thing.
Leaving, still killing it. And then obviously it's that first stuff we called mall punk, because you could find it in mall. We'd walk into Camelot Music or, um, here I think it was Raccoon Records.
I remember that.
Mr. Jeremy keep a lot of cool things in stock. I think I found Cleanse the Bacteria there. But my first copy of Cleanse the Bacteria, which was a very influential comp for me, because it brought in all bands from all over the world. To me, that faraway sound, like being a kid, not being able to see the stuff visually,
Yeah,
but making up these
like these characters in your head.
In my brain, like this is so wild.
Yeah. I can relate because when I first heard some, I think it was probably Megadeth when I was really young, like yeah, and rest in peace.
Okay.
And like when I heard Dave Mustaine's voice for the first time, and I mean, he painted a picture just with his vocals of like, I mean, he's a guy who's probably got some beady eyes and like really long hair and probably pale skin, and boom, I mean, Dave Mustaine, dude. But like later, whenever there was things coming out the woodwork, like Wasp.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, you know, yeah, dude. It's like that. That's an image of that band you just cannot
And then
escape.
seeing them in horror movies.
Right. I mean the bladed jock strap. I mean it's fucking killer. And yeah, my mom and my dad, they had like no preparation for the shit I would get into later in life. But so you're a young skateboarder. Where'd you grew up?
So um, when I was young, we moved from because I was born in New Orleans.
Okay.
We lived in Harahan, and then we moved to Patterson. My dad worked for Texaco, moved around the state a bit.
Yeah.
Uh, then we moved out to Slidell. I'd have to say I started to see um, music develop maybe there. Because before that, man, I was into oldies,
Really?
orchestral music. Yeah. Um, but I'd have to say, okay, so there was this record store called the Establishment in Slidell, Louisiana, that you could walk in there and they had Discharge, they had Extreme Noise Terror, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Things that you wouldn't, as a kid, I was seeing this really harsh, weird albums that probably would have never seen in the mall.
Yeah.
They were a little different. They had a cheese rock too, Poison, Cinderella, stuff like that. But I'd have to say, that, and then later on, moving on into, I guess, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, I had friends at school turned me on to stuff like DRI,
Yeah.
Metallica.
Who's gonna be coming? DRI is going to be coming to New Orleans soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, playing with Heracli and local guys.
Oh, that's a great band.
Great band. We just saw them. It was great.
Awesome. Boy vibe worship, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, Speed Wilson's dad, Bobby, would probably tell you all the same.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so kicking it in Patterson, growing up on orchestral music and whatnot, and then like hearing Discharge.
So really, I didn't know that kind of music till I left Patterson. So
okay,
yeah, it was getting back towards New Orleans and everything. I'd have to say some of my first shows going to late '80s, early '90s in New Orleans.
Yeah,
and meeting the people there, meeting Carl Elvers, who turned me on to a lot of music as well. But it wasn't until I got back, to that side, and then coming back to Lafayette was another jump. That's when I started to see more obscure music. I met the One Common Voice guys and Howie Wells, and he had we talk about a record collection, man. I think I got half of it now, buying it off him. But I mean, he really turned me on to a lot.
Yeah,
I'm still in to this day. We go back and forth,
Yeah. So paint me the landscape of like growing up in New Orleans. Like once you got there, was skating definitely still a priority for you, or like how old were you at this time?
I skated up until about maybe 2014.
Okay.
Crazy, weird. I think that's about right. But I was helping a buddy move into my house,
and
the streets in New Orleans are all jacked up. Well,
yeah,
man, I stepped out of the U-Haul, and as I was stepping out, my ankle rolled, and I saw the bottom of my foot, and then just blacked out. After that, I didn't really get back on boards much. Maybe a few more times, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just kind of
it puts that stigma, man. It's like I rolled my ankle pretty bad,
but I've been in several skateboard accidents.
Oh yeah,
falling off a ramp, busted up my neck. I don't know. I don't know why that was the one. Maybe I was just overworked doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
Ran a kitchen in New Orleans for almost 17 years.
Damn, dude.
17 and a half years.
Is that what you still do? You
Absolutely not. I don't miss it. I don't miss it one bit. Not one bit.
What's the day job these days?
I'm a barber.
No shit.
Yeah.
Man, if I would known that, I'd have brought my son to you because he needed some senior picture cuts.
Come on. Come on.
He said, Dad, can I get a haircut? I was like, man, I don't know if I got time today. And then they ended up turning, he thought he was going to take pictures tomorrow, but it was today. I was like, shit. But yeah, going back though, while you were skating, man, like in the early days, whenever you picked up skateboarding, what was like the soundtrack that would just get you going? Like you would like skate with a purpose. If that makes sense.
I don't know. DRI was a big one. This band's Septic Death.
Oh shit, yeah.
Was another big one for me. That one, of course, Pus Zone turned me onto that. But good stuff. Should probably take him out to sleep, huh?
Oh man, I mean, look at that. Septic Death out of Boise, Idaho.
Yep. But yeah, that was kind of like, that was my jam. That's what I had in my cassette player when I was skating down the road.
Mm-hmm. Man, I would
and we had a skate park in Slidell as well. It was let's see, Pink Panther Trailer Park.
I heard of that
Pink
place.
Panther skate park. Now, I think, as the legend has it, someone may be able to correct me on this, but some kid took a bad spill.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that owned it got sued, and they had to shut it down.
I remember that.
But it stayed erect. It was there for years, probably to my last year in high school. There was a hole in the fence. We'd slip in and still go skate. But it's all bulldozed now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had multiple places in Lafayette and Houma that I would frequent with my older cousins, because I was they had 4 of the oldest at the time Soleil grandsons, and my oldest cousin, I mean, he was like my older brother, up until he died in 2007, tragically. But Archie was the guy who was always telling me, teach me how to do different skate tricks and tell me about different music. If it wasn't for Archie, like, I wouldn't know about Slayer, I wouldn't know about Beastie Boys. And
that's another one too. That was kind of a first one for me too.
Yeah,
for metal wise.
Yeah,
well, not a first one, but one where it kind of bridged the gap and got me more into
metal,
fast hardcore punk.
Okay,
to be honest, like, because I'd heard metal first.
Same here. Yeah, like my cousins were like throwing down the Black Sabbath, the Slayers, the Wasp, what else, man? It was. I think I knew about Ozzy before I knew about Black Sabbath, because I mean, at the time it was all about Randy Rhoads, and I think actually the first Ozzy record that I knew about was Bark at the Moon, because my cousin had the poster. I told this before, man. You walk in and that Bark at the Moon Ozzy just staring you in the face, and at like 7, 8 years old, dude, I was pretty freaked out. And
Iron Maiden would have to be another one.
Oh yes. Dano. And then as a kid, you couldn't help but just like appreciate all that artwork, all the different Eddies that was on the album covers.
Sure, yeah. That was very impressionable to me. I mean,
very much so. Going back to you, man. So, how early did you start playing music, like on your own?
Let's see. Well, I didn't really start playing in a successful band until I moved to Lafayette. But, we do some garage stuff and jam stuff. Like, it might have been 16, 17. And nothing that really ever stuck. But when I moved to Lafayette, I met people that I clicked with musically and learned from, honestly. But so I'd have to say the first band I sang in was, for a brief period of time, I think it might have been Crippled by Society after Josh had left.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to replace Josh. So I stepped in and sang a few songs with them, but we never really played out live. They played live. They were previously Sex Bomb.
Oh, I remember the Sex Bomb. I
Yeah.
remember seeing a bunch of flyers in Lafayette,
Oh hell yeah!
just posted up, and that name stuck.
You've heard it before, huh?
Yes, I
Oh,
have.
good.
Yes, yes. Um, so I don't know if I asked you in conversation, but I'm asking you now. But like, were you school trained, or like someone taught you how to play guitar, or is like everything on your own?
I couldn't. I don't know how to read a note. I don't know how to. I don't know anything about music. I just watch
Yeah,
visually,
yeah,
and by ear.
yeah. That's a rare thing. I mean, I know like as a guitar player, I was like, everyone's like, you got to learn by ear and this
My
and that.
cousin tried to teach me tablature. I think the first song he ever taught me on guitar was "Twist of Cain" by
Danzig,
Danzig.
yes.
Hey man, I saw him recently, and he played the first 3 albums, and wow,
Oh, in New Orleans.
oh man,
Yeah,
that was killer.
yeah. I wanted to go to that show, but I ended up like
I
having to do
missed the
something.
Misfits in Dallas, but hey,
Man,
I ain't
the
paying that on those tickets, man.
the closest thing, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty close. I mean, some people will say, yeah, well, you pretty much saw the Misfits, but the Blackest of the Black tour back in Anaheim of '99, Danzig rode through there while I was deployed, and I was convalescing on medical leave, and fucking me and my buddy rent a car and we go to Anaheim and we see like Danzig reunite with Doyle
Oh, wow,
and Jerry Only. I believe he was there,
wow.
and yeah, and I mean, Danzig's drummer at the time was on drums, but then like Phil Anselmo came
Who
on.
was playing drums for that? Was it?
I could not tell you. I could, man. Whoever was on, it might have been the Danzig 3 album, I believe.
Okay.
And but yeah, Anselmo was playing with Superjoint Ritual at the time,
Uh-huh.
and Anselmo came on stage and joined Danzig because I think they were co-headlining the Blackest of the Black tour, and they did Death Comes Ripping together, which was pretty neat. I was like, holy shit, badass. But that's the closest thing I ever came to watching the Misfits live, man. And that's another band, dude. I mean, they lay so many incredible songs down and influence people to this day.
Uh-huh.
And shit, I hope he says he's retiring soon, huh? Or he's retired after this tour. I don't know.
We'll see.
Let's see.
I mean, and Kiss is gonna play another End of the World tour, right?
Oh yeah, and
End of the road tour.
and I'm sure they're gonna have some. They're gonna have some musicians that are gonna fill in, just have the makeup and probably size up the same dudes that looks like Gene and whoever, and have them in
Has anyone
costume.
really ever retired?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. As long as there's money to be had, I mean,
I think AC/DC should play Lafayette.
dude,
What do you think?
I'm all about that. I think that'd be excellent because
And Brian Johnson singing for him again.
shit, yeah,
Not Axl Rose.
yeah, no, man, no. I'm all about that because it's funny you bring up AC/DC because I was just like on the way to your
That's a
house.
special one.
Yeah. Everyone says that they play the same shit over and over, but it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
It's I mean, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it's they figured out a formula, man. To
yes.
be honest, and stuck with it. And it's basically Chuck Berry rock and roll, man.
Yep. Yep. For my bottom dollar, AC/DC is the best rock and roll band, period.
Hands down.
Hands down. I mean, I think close second, maybe UFO.
I agree with you on that. Scorpions too.
Scorpions. I mean, dude, they shit. That's like the basis of metal right there. I mean, them and Accept. I mean,
Absolutely.
they. I don't think Scorpions gets enough credit. Maybe just not here in the States, but everyone in Germany and
They don't
in
play
Europe,
the States enough.
they don't, and they should.
They should.
Absolutely. Are you by any chance going on Judas Priest this Friday?
Absolutely. I'll be there.
Fucking right, dude. We didn't talk about that. I want to ask you, and
Of course I'll be there.
shit, I'm going, man. Yeah.
The last time I saw them was with Deep Purple in Gulfport.
Wow.
And all these hicks were like, "Who's this other band? They suck." I'm like, "You guys are fucking idiots. They were around just as long as Black Sabbath."
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, what?
Deep Purple with Ian Gillan sing
Oh yeah,
was, awesome.
yeah. You can't really get better than
I think
that,
I think I
man.
filmed the whole thing. I still have it all on my phone.
Oh shit, we're gonna check that out soon. So we're getting back to your story, and was it just like straight power chords what you were playing?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
at first, yeah.
yeah.
I didn't learn how to solo until later, and I still don't know it well. But hey, man, I like the. Sometimes it's more powerful than a noodle.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think I'm with you on that because I mean I can't do it. I might wing a little scale every now and then, like make it sound somewhat decent, but no. Uh, so what was the I guess what was the band that you really like just said, dude, okay, I'm gonna put not that you didn't put a whole lot of focus in. I'm saying like, is there any one of your bands that you were involved with that said, dude, like this is the one that I'm really proud of. Like I'm really
man,
want.
I've got a couple of those. I can't say any one particular. The one that we've done the longest. It's going on 23 years, I think.
Hmm.
Reason of Insanity,
Yeah.
and still doing it. Still recording records, still playing shows.
And,
Not very often,
yeah.
but at least once every year or 2 years or something like that.
Where do y'all normally do y'all recording?
Oh, well, it's been several places. Some of the first one was Bundrick Studios in Houston. The second two or three were actually here in Lafayette. Ivan Klasanen recorded us for a little while. He also recorded the Kill Switch stuff too.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. After that, Chris, who played in a band with Josh called Secret Prostitutes, he had started recording us after that. Beyond that, I don't know. We did go one recording with the late Brandon Farrell on drums while we were on tour. We
Hmm.
toured with Radisson in 2004, and that was in Florida at Danger House Records with Josh Dobbs. And but we don't know as of yet where we're gonna go.
Right.
We have one in the works.
There you go.
Not to
And how?
leak any information
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there,
yeah.
but we got
Uh,
one in the works.
but how did Pure Filth come about?
Pure Field came about. I had just moved back from Lafayette from New Orleans, 2018, late
Okay.
2018. Um, and as soon as I got back, I went to a Christmas party at Jeremy Stewart's house and met, or re met Ben Ray Pickett. And we started playing, me, him, and Shane Blanco started doing a band called Marty Feldman's Eyes. We did that for part of a year, played some out of town shows. We went up to Cleveland and played the Horrible Fest and quite a few shows around here. Yeah, we even played what is it, Creepy Fest in New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
But so it was going good, and then um,
The inevitable lockdown came out.
well, no,
No.
it was a little bit before that.
Okay.
Ben had to move away, and we just dispersed. I think after that, Shane and Dirk and I started doing a little project, um, but didn't have it didn't really catch. And then one day, I think I was talking to Mitch Degg from OTC, and I was like, "Hey man, you want to play some music? Because I'm tired of sitting on my ass." And he's like, "Yeah, man."
Yeah.
So he came over and we started writing songs, and that's pretty much where Pure Filth came from.
And Pure Filth, what is some of the main influence y'all draw from?
All over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really eclectic, and I think in that you'd have to ask Mitch a lot because he wrote majority of the songs. I
Okay.
wrote a few, but he wrote a majority of the songs, and you can hear some TSOL in there. You can hear some I don't know. It's all across the board, man.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, you're very
it's weird, man.
I mean,
Borderline kill by death, but I don't know.
I can understand where you're coming from because I mean, I just saw a little bit of your record collection uh, when I first met you at Feed and Seed,
That's right. Yeah.
and I mean,
That was their first show back, right? By the way.
was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I mean, you
Didn't
opened
we
up.
play that show when I was DJing and we
You
played those
were,
sets?
you was,
Yeah.
and what how I knew you and I would get along so well is because you was spinning fucking puke
Oh yeah.
on 45.
Yes.
And then like maybe 2 tracks later, you played Rixie? Rix?
Reese.
Rix
Yeah, from France.
from France. And I was like, holy shit. I thought I was like the only person in Lafayette that knew about this shit. But
No.
no, as
Not anymore.
not anymore. And I made a beeline for your turntable, man. And I was like, dude, like we just became best friends.
So you were asking me earlier, where did that come about? Me actually starting to DJ, and I would go and hang out with my buddy Andy Gusseljack, and he was my roommate at the time, and you know he had a DJ thing. He called it Hades Night.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I had him come and do one here. We did a show, I think, Morbid Torment
Oh, those dudes are
and Pale
awesome.
Misery, and who else played Christworm and
Mm-hmm.
Pure Filth, and Andy did a Hades Night, and that's really kind of where my influence came from. It's like because I'd go and spin with him sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and from that it led into me doing this thing called a country night at the Circle Bar with Jason Panzer, Jason Kraft, and we would pick a it was more or less his idea.
Mm-hmm.
He'd pick a country. Uh, we did it once a month, give or take. May not have been every month, but we'd pick a country, bring all the records we had from that country, and we'd play metal, hardcore, psych, uh, uh, 70s, like hard rock, whatever pertained to hard rock and roll
Yeah.
music. And we'd play everything that we had from that country. So we called it a country night.
Dude, that's awesome.
And you about imagine we'd have some people showing up in cowboy hats and boots and what the but so that's where that's where I got my DJ legs in, so to speak.
Yeah.
And when I moved here, I was like, I sold my house in New Orleans. I did okay.
Mm-hmm.
And first two things I bought was a new car and some turntables so that I could start sharing the records I've collected through the years with other people.
Yeah.
It does no good if it just sits on your shelf and stays dusty.
I respect that.
And you just hoard it away.
Yeah.
You have to share it. How else are younger people going to find out about these bands?
Yeah.
Well, maybe the internet, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I kind of want to bring that in an organic nature back to especially Lafayette.
Yeah, especially Lafayette, because there I don't want to say that we're being bulldozed by Acadians culture, but in some respects I feel like we are. Like
you talking about like Cajun music?
Yeah, exactly.
I have a lot of respect for that.
And I do. I
have a lot of respect for it, and
we all got to come from somewhere.
Yeah. And I think it adds to the nature of, say, bands like it creates an environment.
Yeah.
A lot of that mindset. These people without a whole lot of money going out there and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And
but that going back to your first point, man, like how these kids are gonna figure it out. I mean, I was one of those kids that whenever the internet like broke out in '95 and there was AOL at my house, it was like it was still word of mouth. It was just it was via chat rooms. Like, hey, man, you
ask a punk?
Yeah, like you like metal? Yeah, like, dude, you need to check these guys out from Norway. And as the story goes, I figured out who Dark Throne was in '96. and I've been, just
Is that is that
waving
where
that
you
flag.
is that how you found out about puke?
I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uncle Fenris, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's, he
I
said,
found out about it in a different way. I found out about it through the first time I'd heard about it was through a collection that got released of Swedish demos called Varning for Punk. It was a 3 CD thing, box set. And man, that's like the holy grail, the Bible of Swedish hardcore.
God, yes.
And but they have a demo on there that just floored me, and I had to find more by that band. So you know, you go looking through records, especially in Houston, Rockpile Records and was it Soundwave, Sound Exchange.
Soundwave definitely sucks a bell.
But you know, people had, the '90s, people were selling off all their stuff, even into the 2000s. Like
Hmm.
so you could get stuff real cheap.
Yeah.
I want to say that LP. I think I traded somebody for the LP. I don't remember what I traded for it. Oh, for a copy of Cleanse the Bacteria, actually, to Josh Fawn. Exchanged. He gave me the Puke LP, and I gave him a copy of Cleanse the Bacteria, and the 7-inch I got from I think him as well. But he picked it up for like $6.
That's
You know what I mean?
nuts.
Like
That is
no one
nuts.
cared about it then.
Yeah. And like now, it's like, if you pay attention to anything
Or
Fenris,
special forces or slug lords or
yeah, yeah, man. It's like, whoa. And you had two, like, either 7-inch or 45. I don't remember what it
Mhm.
was exactly.
Yeah.
Like, just right off the rip, I was like, dude, like, I only heard this because there was a playlist that Fenris put out
Yeah.
and talked about it, and so I was like, man, this guy knows his shit, like, clearly.
So collecting wise, when I really started collecting records, there were three people that really kind of fed that appetite, and one of them was Bob Sarin,
Hmm.
Sound Idea. He put up with me for years and years and years, calling that 1-800 number weekly, maybe twice a week, and he was never mean to me. He was
Hmm.
always really cool. He'd sit there and he'd read a list of all the stuff that came in that week.
That is
And
wild, man.
yeah.
I think the closest thing for me like that was, Dave Hubble had toys,
Oh yeah,
and
Toys.
and
Yeah, Dave Hubble played in a band with one of my uncles actually.
really,
And I'm trying to remember Pink Cadillacs or something like that. I could don't hold me to that. Uh, but yeah,
good old Dave Hubble, man. Like, I remember at the time I was like, one of those misguided Utes, and like 95, 96, the same time I started discovering black metal, and my buddy wanted me to check out Marilyn Manson's Antichrist Superstar album that came out that year, 96.
I
So
remember somebody trying to turn me onto that stuff too, and I just did not click.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I liked Portrait.
Uh huh.
It was, it was more raw sounding, but like Antichrist and everything after that, I was like, no.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the story. I went to Dave Hubble, man, and like he would every now and then had these goodies. He had like a fucking he had the latest Down. It was the Down 2 album
Mhm.
that they didn't release yet. And he I don't know how, but he had a ripped copy of the master or some shit on
Maybe we
CD.
shouldn't talk about how.
Maybe shouldn't.
We shouldn't talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
anyway,
But anyway, and he was like, "You need to check this shit out, man." I was like, "Okay."
so I used to go in, periodically when it was on Stewart Street. Um, Now it's a tattoo studio, which right after that, I think AAA was started there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or maybe Kobe might have been somewhere else before that. But anyway, there was always a box of records, and I think a lot of these records came from a guy Mark Bostic, who was very influential here in Lafayette. Uh, he was trying to sell off some records,
Hmm.
and I'd pick up stuff, like of course plasmatic singles and Slaughter and the Dogs. I got a Slaughter and the Dogs EP there.
Damn.
Yeah, I was in there looking for punk, and Dave was trying to turn me on to like, oh, I don't know, like Fugazi or something. I'm like,
You wasn't a big Fugazi fan?
wasn't my thing, man. Wasn't my thing. That was the to me that was anti-punk.
Fugazi was anti-punk?
I think so.
Really?
I think so.
I never thought of him that way.
I thought, okay, after when Ian started doing stuff like Boss Icon, and it was kind of like a kind of a spit in the face of punk rock. I
Really?
think, yeah.
And see, maybe I'm just too young, or at the time I was just too
We're
young.
probably the same age. Man. I'm 45.
I'm 42. But like I was just a little, I guess I was listening to Fugazi growing up,
Uh-huh.
like back when I was probably in a junior, senior in high school. I got turned on to Fugazi, and I really liked Repeater, and I liked 13 songs. But that to me, that was like mostly Repeater. I had on, like a better word, repeat. I had on repeat, and and I guess I just didn't get involved with like a whole lot of bands as politics. I came
Mm-hmm.
way later. Um, and there was some things that I liked about Fugazi, some of the aspects of that, and you know, um, to me, it felt like um, that particular brand of hardcore was like my cup of tea,
Okay.
at the time,
Yeah.
and then like later throughout the years, as you get older, taste gets a little more refined. You get, some people get a little more edgy or a little harder, a little
Mm-hmm.
darker with the taste, and
Right.
and I'm no different. So, you know,
Yeah.
I get it, man. Um, so you're DJing. How long ago that was? When you started, you said?
Probably. I think probably 2017.
Okay, so that's pretty recent, man.
2016 actually.
All right.
So yeah, not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I mean that I started kind of doing on my on my own and stuff.
Hmm. And you get like a. I mean, obviously, you went was that one
I have
night
to thank
jacks.
Michael Bateman for the turntables most of the times he provided them
Nice.
and put the actual event on.
I mean, you get called quite a bit. I mean, from like Feed and Seed, or like, I mean, how's the booking works? I mean, I'm a real novice when it comes to booking shows and
Usually
whatnot.
somebody just asks, "Hey man, you want to DJ?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'll do that."
Now, did you ever have to like run sound and DJ at the same time?
I'm not
That sound
I'm
guy.
not a sound
Okay.
guy.
All right. All right.
I'm not a sound guy. No, that show. No, I was not running sound. Um, Matter of fact, that was incredible how that show even panned out
Yes.
because it went from like not having a PA to like having a PA, and that was like a couple of days worth of work for Sean and for for those guys, man. I know it was stressful for them,
Yeah.
and a lot of props to them. Sean
Absolutely.
especially because he's out there
Oh yeah, dude.
trying to make it happen. Nothing but respect to him.
Same here, man. And I told Sean, and I'll say it
He kept
again.
it alive when everybody left.
He really did.
you know,
And whenever I heard the first Writhings material, I was like, dude, this band's from fucking Lafayette. And sure enough, it's like, dude,
oh, they're good.
they're really
I
good.
enjoy
And
watching them. And
man,
they're playing Saturday night.
yes,
A rival show to the I Hate God show.
yep, and I will be there.
I'll be at both, but
Yep,
I've got to at least go see Writhings.
yes. I'm really curious to see Faustian too.
Yeah.
I mean, their
In
shit's
New
fucking
Orleans, right?
Baton Rouge, I
Baton
believe.
Rouge, okay.
Yeah, I think they got some guys from New Orleans. Don't quote me on that.
I don't know, man.
I haven't had them on the show just yet, but I really would love for them to get on the show. So, Faustian, if you're watching this shit, come on. uh, but yeah, really brutal, like homebrew death metal, man. It just sounds so fucking killer.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't even got a chance to hear it yet.
Yeah, I think it just released that new release like a couple weeks back or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And so I'm really looking forward to that show. And when's the next time Pure Filth's playing, man?
Good question.
Good question.
Good question. I don't know. I think we're trying for sometime maybe the 17th or 18th in December, depending on everybody's schedule.
Yeah.
It's been a little uh, difficult getting that going, but we'll get it.
I'd be remiss if
We've actually recorded and practiced more than we
hey,
played shows.
nothing wrong with that. You know, you
Only played 3 shows.
it feels like y'all played more than that.
No, that's it. 3.
That's wild.
One at the Feed and Seed, one at
Boom Boom Room.
and then one in Houston. We played in
Damn.
Houston at the end, and that was a good show too.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, you know, how long you've been playing drums, because I mean, you're a multifaceted dude.
My uncle had a drum set when I was a child, and I kind of always was fascinated with it. And I have pieces of it with me.
Damn.
Not the whole thing, but it was a 1973 Blue Sparkle Ludwig kit. I may have that. No, it didn't have the olive badge on it, but anyway. So I was always fascinated with drums, more so drums than guitar or anything like that. But I didn't really start playing drums until the first band I played drums in was Medically Separated.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time being a bass player or a guitar player in other bands.
So drums came first.
In my mind.
Yeah.
The first band I ever performed with live was singing.
Okay.
And, you know.
And still in all, like everything that you learn, like instrument wise, all by ear.
Yeah.
No classically trained.
Absolutely not.
training.
No.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, some people could do it like that, whereas people like me,
I'm
like
a music major's nightmare, man. Don't talk to me about music.
Yeah.
I can't talk skills with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Man, I mean, we need to get you to DJ some more.
I'd love to.
I mean, and I'm just, what's some of the selections you besides the Septic Death you got over there, man, that you want to talk about?
Well, honestly, mostly post-mort releases. This one right here made me want to play bass.
And
it's Inferno's Todd and Wolfson.
Put it up a little closer. There you go. Yeah.
And I think SOD covered one of their songs. We'll say "Ram It Up Your Something or Other."
Uh-huh.
I don't know if the FCC can bust you.
They can't. Nah. It's every time I upload, I can put "not for children." Oh shit! Creme de la creme.
This is a very important one to me, man. This is
if you don't know about Poison Idea, if you don't know about the Kings of Punk out of Oregon, you are wrong. Look at that.
R.I.P. Tom Roberts.
That's it. Pig champion.
Yes. Jerry's still doing it. Still doing the band.
Man, and that album.
Chris Stintz is still playing too, but I looked up Gene Johnson a while ago. I think he's a jazz teacher.
What?
I'm not. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But
favorite track on that album?
What track?
What's your favorite track on that album?
Oh man, Death Wish Kids. I don't know the whole thing, start to finish, man.
Oh yeah,
Styles.
It's a fucking banger, top to bottom.
4-minute imp. You know, like I don't know. I don't have any one favorite. It's like one long track to me.
I don't know what, like the first song I heard from these guys was Cop and Attitude.
Yeah.
And just the opening riffs on that song, the tone, man. Homeboy had a tone like nobody during that time. And that's one of those tones I'm still trying to chase.
Oh yeah.
It's so fucking good. Get that shit.
This is another one. This is another one for me. If you haven't heard this record, this is the pinnacle. I mean, this is they took it so far. It like I don't know if it can never be topped.
That's saying a lot, man.
You have to check it out, man.
Yes, we will.
So it comes with this really cool,
like a Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does this really cool comic book? All the lyrics are illustrated.
That is amazing.
But yeah, this is skateboarding wise. This one is another one that really influenced me as well. And of course, Keep Laughing. That was their first LP. It was a 7-inch before that. But man, all total partiers, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how many of them are alive anymore. I know Bomber and Jason are both passed, but
Where were they out of?
they were California.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
yeah,
yep, that makes sense. All the
yeah.
California was they had probably so many studios. I was just cranking out like good punk,
They,
everywhere.
I think they might have been part of the whole Doug Moody thing.
Hmm.
Like, they were the ones that say, "Hey, f you, Doug Moody. We're gonna, like they book these tours and like I don't know, I, they should have been more popular than what they were.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
if you haven't heard that record, definitely check it out. Blood, false gestures for a devious public.
Hmm. That's some killer artwork on that.
Yeah, it's a special one. First time I ever heard that, I think I was at a DJ night at Metropolis,
Man, now you're bringing up an old establishment that
and yeah.
so many memories.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, you can glue this side to the turntable because this is the one that matters right here.
Sick pleasure.
Sick pleasure.
Dolls under control.
Yeah, that's Nikki Sicky, who was originally out of Houston and then moved out to California. And then United Mutation.
What year is this from?
Oh shoot, man. 86, I think this is from. No, 82. 86, yeah. Recorded between 82 and 86.
Nice.
But yeah, man. Some pretty mangled stuff. So the DC scene, as you well know, they were
Yeah.
mostly straight edgers.
Yep.
Well, this is the one band that didn't fit the niche.
Yeah.
They didn't. They were like the acid heads, man, and you'll hear it in the music.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's. I don't know if these plastic sleeves are even doing any good.
Shit, I think they are, man. I mean, those albums look like they held up pretty.
Those are just a few, but
Yeah.
obviously, like it's hard to nail it down to like,
If the house was on fire, you taking those with you.
might as well just stay in the house because I can't take all that with me.
So I always ask this question, man.
Going out in a blaze, man.
I always
Pop a record on.
I always ask this question, man. If seriously, if you had to grab the cats and hightail it out of this house, which ones you gotta bring with you? And
what cat? You
huh?
can't ask me that.
No. What albums? What albums you have to bring with you? I mean, would it be those or what's 6 you can't live without?
I don't know. We're in a time where everything's on the. Dare I say it? I'm not. I'm a technophobe.
Yeah.
But I do use YouTube quite a bit.
Yeah, me too.
So I don't know. And everything's being re-released. I can't say that. I couldn't nail it down, but
I mean, let's start small. What's the first one you're thinking of right now?
oh, cleanse the bacteria.
There you go.
Because it's so many bands. So many bands on one comp.
Uh-huh.
Holocaust, I didn't bring that one out, but
That's fine.
But and that was kind of my introduction into rare and obscure punk and hardcore around the world.
Yeah.
In places like Sweden and Australia and Germany. Different languages. I didn't know exactly what they were talking about. It still don't.
Yeah,
but it sounds really cool.
It takes a big leap of faith to never heard of a band, maybe let alone the country where they at. Whenever you're a young teen or whatever, it's like I'm gonna put this on, and it rips.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking kudos to you, Howie, for like, just taking that leap of faith for a lot of us here who, like, whenever you DJ and you expose a whole lot of these younger
I hope
crowds.
they're hearing it. I hope they care.
I hope they do too,
I've
because you're doing the majority of the homework for them.
I've had like weird encounters with young people where they're not so much interested in listening to a bunch of old people,
Yeah.
and matter of fact, we don't fit the club,
Yeah. Right.
it's the exact opposite of what it was when we were young. We looked to the older people for the knowledge and the
Yes.
advice, and and now it's like they think they've got it all on their phone.
Yeah. And then when they go to pull up something on Spotify, it's like, dude, I can't find it. Well, guess what?
I
You're
really
not.
experienced that a lot in New Orleans. I played with the pallbearers about 14 years,
Mm-hmm.
and we were, we're not well liked by, people throughout. I don't know. There was a division, and we didn't find out about cool shows that were going on. I had friends that played in bands that played New Orleans. They didn't even know. They thought I'd just be there.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, no. These people don't. They don't like us. They don't communicate with us. So I don't know. I that shit's out the door. You can't have that. That's what I liked about Lafayette. It's not like that here.
Yeah.
There's not a that I know of. There's not a. It's not too clicky.
It's not too clicky. It's not.
You know.
And I think one of the good things that the younger crowd, our millennial generation, has going for them is that they're a little bit more open to, like, okay, there's this band from New Orleans coming in. Let's check them out. Let's go see their show. I noticed that, because of the internet, because of, the techie generation, I saw firsthand. I was watching the kids from Void. I mean, they showed up. They were like one of the first people that walked into Freetown to, like, see and greet the guys from Heraclean. And I was like, dude,
cool.
that's fucking awesome.
Hey, did OTC play that first show that Heraclean played?
Yes, sure did.
That's how I found out about him, because
Yeah.
like Mitch told me, "Hey man, you're gonna like this band."
Mm-hmm.
Sure as hell.
Yeah, I mean, straight up old school thrash death influences. And but yeah, I do notice that some of the younger crowd, man, just like, because of the podcast, that some people, some younger people approach me and like, dude, what's some of the things that I was like, well, you could check out a Buried Underground episode where, like, me and some friends, I need to have you on that.
What's it called?
Buried Underground. Well, basically, like, all we do is just play songs off the internet that no one, we think, hasn't heard about.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, check out one of those episodes, and that'll put you on a path, to greatness. At least in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
I think it's very important. I think there still needs to be like some sort of like bridging of the gap.
yeah,
I want to see younger bands playing. I want to see kids going for it.
yeah,
Get out there and play some music.
yeah.
Play some music, so I got something to watch.
No shit, dude. Like, and again, coming back to Heraclean, man, like, it just, like, the future's so bright for those kids, those guys, and they're not kids anymore. They're guys. They're like just young men ripping it up, dude.
Mhm.
And like, just watching them do what they do and doing it well and tight and the way they sound. I mean, it's fucking amazing. So glad to know that they're around. And good to see that people like yourself are still around and doing it too, because, like you said, man, like, there has to be some kind of
Yeah, I seriously didn't know what to expect when I came back here.
yeah,
Like, and I'm completely satisfied. And I'll keep trying to help build a community of
yeah,
like-minded people to appreciate the great stuff. And that hopefully people keep creating great stuff, and they are.
they are.
I could go be a whole nother episode where we're playing new stuff, man.
Dude, man, we got
there's stuff coming out especially this past 2 years, like past 2 years, 2001, 2022. 2021, 2022. The stuff that I've come across that people had, I guess, time to really do something.
Yeah, yeah.
But amazing. Oh, one band I want to tell you about right now. Check out Meat House.
Meat House.
Yeah, they're it's it's Eric Montanez, who was in Direct Control, and also White Stains, and dude, everything he touches, man.
I figured out how I could do this to get 6 albums out of you. Let's go by genre.
Okay.
Because you and I are music nerds, like big time.
All right.
I feel like I got my older brother sitting down on the couch with me. So favorite DC hardcore album.
Well, I brought it out here.
Okay.
United Mutation.
All right.
Uh, probably Fusion Family, the United Mutation Fusion Family 7-inch, which we kind of ripped on it and started a band called Fusion Family.
Nice. All right, that's one we got. That's one we got knocked out.
Okay.
Favorite 80s thrash album.
Lip Cream.
Nice. When did that come out?
I mean, well, 83, 84 on.
Damn.
They put out, what, 4 LPs, a bunch of some singles, and wait, Night Rider More Than Fight. I don't know. It might have come out in 83.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Favorite.
But they weren't really, okay, they weren't really thrash.
Okay.
They were that, I guess in a way they were. That's just Japanese.
Okay.
Japanese hardcore to me.
Okay.
But okay, favorite thrash album. Thrash meaning more metal. Right?
Thrash metal. Yeah.
Okay, thrash metal. Creator, Terrible Certainty.
Can't go no.
Behind the Mirror.
Cannot go wrong with Creator, man.
Behind the Mirror.
Shit. I love the fact that a lot of the
Sodom's great too.
Sodom's great too.
So is Poison. Mostly German thrash.
Dude, Poison, yes.
And Canadian thrash too.
Oh yeah. Poison, man. I bought the
Poison, the German band.
Yes, like with Sphinx.
Right there.
Oh yeah, dude. Sweet. Yeah, the Sphinx, man. That track on so fucking good.
That dude's voice is mangled.
Yes. Okay. And the one thing I really appreciate about German thrash, and we might go on a tangent here, but I don't care. It's like the faster they played, the more sloppy it was, in my opinion. But it made it so good. Listen to
the pretty articulate.
They are, but listen to Sodom.
Yeah,
that shit's off time.
Oh, in the earlier stuff.
Yeah, the earlier stuff. Yeah.
What is it? The Sign of. Yeah.
I can't remember the album, but I just remember like hearing some of the older Sodom. It was just kind of off time, and
yeah, the early Sodom. Yeah, it is a little bit, but I mean that's they were building something.
They were. Yeah.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But you get down to like Agent Orange, and that shit's calculated, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so we cover. All right, so covered thrash, covered DC hardcore. What else we said? Oh, that was the only 2 we did.
This is 2.
Okay, so the third one.
So many different directions.
I know, man. Favorite Scandinavian black metal.
Scandinavian black metal. Favorite Scandinavian black metal.
God, I'm thinking.
No. There's some.
First one that comes to mind.
Well, I can't say that. I'm really thinking hard.
Yeah.
What's my favorite one? Man, I don't know.
Okay. Come back to that one.
Okay.
Just give me favorite, uh, something local that you like, something new right now.
Pale Misery.
Pale Misery.
I think they're really. I love their theatrics. I think it's awesome.
I know. I told that to Thorn, man. And in fact, I asked him like, dude, where does one get one of those fucking
Yeah.
candelabras? I was called
Candelabras.
candelabras. Thank you. Always struggle with that fucking word.
I was that show we played with them.
Yeah, yeah.
They just set the stage on fire.
Dude, that's wild.
Flaming balls of wax hitting the ground. So hey man, you got a fire.
Yeah, dude, it's real.
They're good. Love Writhings.
Yes,
Wish there were more bands
from Lafayette. Well, man, I on the way here, I was talking to one of my good friends who's they got a black thrash project going on.
Tell me about it. Can you? All right.
Well, no. They made
Top secret?
they made their presence known on social media. It's on Facebook. I could tell you about them.
Yeah.
It's a band called Abysm.
Okay.
Toby Saltzman, who was in Omega Faction for a little while. Brian Snelling's on drums.
Okay.
Keith Boutte is the vocalist, and Andrew Benoit, I believe, is on bass. And I think I'm not sure. I never met Andrew. I think he's from up north somewhere, maybe like Alexandria, maybe.
Okay. I knew. Okay, so I've actually played with quite a few people from Alexandria that wound up in bands with me. There is for oddly some sort of influence there.
Yeah.
Because for so many musicians to come out of Alexandria, and not not to know much about it, but yeah, I played with many projects with Dan McCoy,
Mm-hmm.
and I played with another Dan in a metal project, Satanic Heavy Drinker.
Satanic Heavy Drinker. Yeah. Nice. Did you ever make patches for that band?
I made T-shirts.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I'll give you one, but the last ones I have are like small.
Never mind.
You can make a patch out of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was Dan and Kevin. Start off as me and Kevin from at that time Six Pack.
Man, that is another band I wish played Lafayette a little bit more often, Morbid Torment, because dude, they totally just like blew me away, man.
Benny on drums, man.
Holy shit.
He's a good all around musician.
Mm-hmm. They had a show, I think, just past weekend at
Morbid Torment did?
Yeah.
Where?
Might have been New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
I remember seeing the flyer like over the weekend, and I was like, "Oh damn, shit, that was this weekend." But we had some stuff going on this weekend. But getting back to some of your favorite albums, man, by genre, what is? And I know this is gonna be harder for you to narrow down to, but what is like the one punk album you just cannot live without?
Just straight up punk.
Straight up punk.
Not hardcore.
Straight up punk.
Let's say Cranked Up Really High, Slaughter on the Dogs.
Nice. I mean, all about it. Yeah. Man, so what are you most looking forward to as far as like, and we might have touched on it earlier, but as far as the Lafayette scene and surrounding areas, like what is something that, you're looking forward to, for the long haul?
I'm looking forward to seeing younger people pick up the torch and carry it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not getting any younger.
We're not. Yeah.
They can't do it forever, and someone needs to, do it.
It's true, and but I think some of these bands that are coming up, and I'll talk about Abysm more, but what I can tell you, and Toby, if I get the wrong shit conveyed here, but I would say that Abysm is like a combination of like, what if Gary Holt joined a black metal band? As the best way I could, or like, if Millie from Creator said, do it, I want to take Creator into a much darker place.
Uh-huh.
That's that you get abysm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he he sent me what he says is the final mix of their EP on the way here, and I was like, dude,
Nice.
I was like, I had to bust his balls a little bit. I was like, dude, solid 6 out of 10, solid 6 out of 10. It's good, and he was like, what? But it's really good, man. I'm they're gonna play their first show.
Where?
So Cranial Sledge, I believe at the Feed and
Oh,
Seed.
nice.
Yeah. Cranial
Billy
who
and Zach. They're doing. Oh man, they had their first show the other night with Exhorter.
yes.
And a great first show it was.
What a great first show. In fact, just in my opinion, and please don't hold it against me, Kyle, Mr. Kyle Thomas. I thought they stole that show. I
That was the best. That was one of the best times I'd seen Exhorter play.
yeah, me too. I mean, you had Pat O'Brien on on
That's
guitar
right.
as dude, and not to take anything away from Gang Order, man.
But no, Cranial Sledge.
Cranial Sledge was
Absolutely.
like for their first show. You could tell they've been at it. I mean, it's a bunch of seasoned vets in the scene. You got Burt Hazelwood, Billy Richard, fucking TJ and Zach and Chad Segura. Dude, I mean, it was just yeah. And I was totally blown away. You know, I think this is 2 weeks in a row that I've mentioned Cranial Sledge. I mean, I'm just they're great, man. I'm high on them, man. They're a bunch of buds and
Zach's such a energetic drummer.
God, yes. I mean, he has no stop, man. Just there's no pause button.
And I really do. I have a big appreciation for Chris.
Yes,
he writes good songs. Some of those, you can hear a little. I think they do song too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because the late Sean Anders wrote a good bit of material with Billy. And yeah, rest in peace, man. And love you, Blaine. Thinking about you, buddy. And it's just the outpouring of bands right now, as far as metal's concerned in Lafayette. Few in number, I feel like, but what Lafayette does have is some quality fucking bands, and you add Pure Filth in that equation. I mean,
working on it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's something that I respect, and I always had a great time watching y'all play the 2 times y'all played in Lafayette. So y'all need to get your asses in gear and hit those stages again, man.
You haven't seen us with a bass player yet.
What's that?
You haven't seen us with a bass player.
I have not.
Eric's playing bass with us. He played his first show with us in Houston at the end a while back now. So we do need to play another show soon, guys. Let's play a show.
Let's play a show. But dude, look, man, we eclipsed over an hour of talking, man. And dude, I just thank you again for letting me come over.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah. And if you got any words of wisdom, you got anything you want to push to the people out there?
You won't know unless you go. And get out there and do it.
Hell yeah. Get there and do it. Take a leap of faith. Buy some records you haven't.
Oh yeah.
If the cover looks cool to you, fucking just buy it, and
keep the record industry alive.
Shit, yeah.
But punk rock, and metal.
Listen to us, old folks.
We don't need another. No, never mind.
All right, y'all. So thanks again for watching, and this is episode 41 with Howie BURKENSTOCK. Pure Filth. Check y'all later.